Hey everyone. Hi ladies.
Good morning.
Welcome. This is Coach's Chat, episode number 7. We have been discussing the topic of self-control. It is one of the top reasons that people give that they struggle with meeting and reaching their goals. When we even had done a survey last year of our audience, and was asking what are some reasons that you feel that you struggle with your healthy habits. Number 1 was time, and number 2 was the lack of self-control, lack of willpower. Hi, I'm Ginger Asimus. I am founder and CEO of 7 Core Wellness.
Your healthy habits coaches here.
I'm Veronica Garces. I'm also one of your healthy habits coaches.
All right, so what we're going to be diving in a moment is talking about ways that you can strengthen your self-control. It's kind of like a muscle. It can be strengthened. We only have a finite amount, is what we were talking about last episode. And it's, you can be sort of tapped out at the end of the day if you have really good, for example, really good intentions at the beginning of the day, and then by the end of the day, it can all just sort of go down the drain. And it's just because your self-control can be sort of tapped out. And I really like what Sarah and Veronica was both sharing about their thoughts on self-control and willpower, and when they're talking with their clients about it. And Sarah, why don't you share a bit with us?
So I touched on how I feel like willpower has become this kind of like ethereal thing that we're just all meant to have. And working with clients in the past, they come in and they're like, I just don't have enough willpower. I want to do this, but I didn't have the willpower. And really I feel like willpower is not the thing, right? Self-control, yes, but it also comes down to building your self-efficacy, right? And self-efficacy is that belief in your ability to do something. So when we set these huge goals, because we've seen that this is what we're supposed to do based off of people we follow on social media or stuff that we've seen, and we're supposed to be working out 5 times a week for 900 hours and all of that, and then we can't stick to it, right? Then we fall into that trap where we're beating ourselves up because we didn't have enough willpower to stick with that enormous goal. And so every time we can't stick with that enormous goal, our self-efficacy is depleted more and more, which leads to less self-control because we don't believe we can do it, subconsciously. And so we're setting these goals that we want to achieve, but we're like, I'm not going to be able to do this.
Which leads really well into what Veronica was saying about
Yeah,
it
does. So I touched on a lot about how self-control is a lot about having the right mindset when having those goals that you're setting. So often we see self-control as like, oh, I have no self-control, I can't do this. Like it's kind of we see it as a negative thing, but it really should just be that positive thing of how I can improve, how I can be better, what am I lacking so I can have better self-control to achieve these goals. What's happening that maybe I can't do this? And so, figuring out that mindset and breaking it down so that you can be better at your self-control and believe, like as Sarah was saying, that you can do this.
Yeah. So mindset, like the right mindset, we talk about that is like one of our non-negotiables. One of the biggest things that we work with clients is helping them get in that right mindset about it. And, we even have our own kind of struggles, maybe something that we're working on that we realize that, okay, maybe we want a little more self-control to help make some changes, either for good things or maybe something that's not so good. And even for myself, just an example is, and we're going to share examples, is I pick up my phone too much and look at social media. Like I don't need to. It has become a habit of just like, a lot of times for me, I know when I am, writing and I'm struggling with words, like something, for some reason, I'll just like pick up my phone and start looking at it. I'm like, this is a time waster. Like there's no reason.
Yeah, counterproductive.
It's counterproductive to what I want to achieve, but it's become such a habit. And, and I'll start popping on for social media and I'm like, why am I doing this? And I'm on it more than I want to be. Like, this is ridiculous. So that's one of my things that I'm like working on. What about you girls?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have worked really, 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 really hard on my sleep habits. Sleep has been a really difficult habit for me since I was probably in, I don't know, definitely school age. And then as an adult and going to college and developing just horrible sleep routines. And then, just well into adulthood where I am the last 2 years, like I put so much effort into my sleep habits and got to a place where I was getting the best sleep I ever had. And I, as of late, have fallen back on those habits, kind of falling into that trap that all of us have fallen into, where you're like, well, I've got it now, right? I don't have to continue working at it. It's just gonna be there, right? Like when we get to that management phase, when we're in maintenance. And I've let some of the cornerstone habits that I developed that was giving me that great sleep. So that's where I'm at now, is getting back on track with all those things that I was doing that give me great sleep, which my husband laughs at because he can sleep through the end of the world. Like literally the world could be crumbling and he'd sleep fine. And so he sees this routine. He's like, my gosh, all the things. But you know what? I wake up the next morning and I feel great because I did whatever, my 5-step program. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I've got to get back on track with just, maintaining the steps that led to all that healthy sleep.
For me, something that I've been trying to work on, be better at, is having more self-control in like social situations, being social with family, friends. Food is often there. And so just remembering, like, I don't need all that sugar or that unhealthy snack that's just there, and just remembering that how it makes me feel, it's not really going to make me feel great if I keep eating all that stuff. And so just having that mindset and self-control that I don't need that just because it's in front of me and just because I'm around people, so just remembering that, because I've been doing more things with friends and family. It's summer outside, and also, at work, people bring in stuff. And so just remembering that self-control with all those things, all the treats, the unhealthy things that are around me.
Yeah. Social situations are one of the most challenging. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, they are definitely one of those situations that require pre-planning.
Yeah.
Right. And even like you were saying, Veronica, like, surprise, someone brings donuts into the break room at work, right?
Yeah.
Having a procedure that you go through when that happens, and I think, I know this is maybe taking us, of course, just a little bit, I know we have to finish up, but I think what all of us have talked about is that it does require work and effort, right? Developing that mindset, getting those habits. And I think maybe that's where, when we see like the fast tracks to whatever, losing weight or that sort of thing, it doesn't show the effort and the work that has to go into it. And I think that also falls into where it goes back to that willpower is just supposed to be this thing that automatically exists and you're supposed to be able to do it.
Right. And it's like you sort of have a honeymoon phase of that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like it doesn't. So, all right. So I'm going to share 5 ways to help strengthen your willpower muscle that I gathered from, I have recently read 2 books on this. And so from both of those books, I saw some common themes, and I pulled away kind of 5 things that you can help strengthen that self-control muscle. So if you guys, as you're listening, thinking of something that that you struggle with, think about applying these 5 things. So number one is just strictly just admitting it and defining your triggers, because you've got to put it in the forefront. And also realizing, and then your triggers, just like I'm finding that when I get bored, or not necessarily bored, I'm stuck in something and something's not flowing easily, I'm finding something else to break my brain away from something. And that's for me, like I pick up my phone. One of the things, like they actually talked about with AA, for example, what's their first one? They always admit the fact that they are an alcoholic. It's that taking that ownership of it. So admitting, acknowledging, finding that trigger of it. All right. Number 2 is pausing. Take a moment to take a break when you know that you are in a situation where you're wanting, you're losing self-control. And you girls probably have some examples of that, of situations. And recently I wrote an article about that situation of like just taking a moment, walking away from something, pausing. You know, if you guys use that tactic, how have y'all used it?
Yeah, I definitely have used that with clients where definitely like stress related things, right? Where stress is the trigger for the next like negative health behavior. And also a lot of times with food, like when I have worked with clients that, you know, their main goal is strengthening their nutrition. It's like opening the refrigerator, right? When you haven't planned your next meal or something, like when they open the refrigerator, like sometimes they count to 5 before they even look in, like, so that all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is what I'm looking for, instead of opening that fridge and just scanning. Like, yeah, open the fridge, but count to 5 before you even look at anything that's in there.
Yeah. Take a moment, because it can, especially if you're just doing something, because a lot of times when we lose our self-control, we're doing something just, you know, autopilot or instant gratification, right? But when we stop to think about it, give ourselves a moment, you can be like, what in the world am I doing? It gives you time to kind of process it. All right. Number 3 is you've got to have a greater purpose. There's got to be a strong why, reason upon your desire to make change, and so you've got to remember that. And we really work with clients to help them try to figure out what that stronger, greater purpose is. So, because that is a huge driver in helping you. I'm sure, Veronica, you've experienced something.
Yeah. Well, just even going back to what I'm trying to work on, like I've really been trying, just taking that moment and like thinking about, okay, I don't need to do this because I know how it'll make me feel. Like I'm working so hard. I'm making sure I'm exercising every day. I'm, eating a healthy breakfast, doing all those things. But then when like those treats come in, like, why would I do that to like sabotage everything that I've been working on, kind of thing? And so, and that I've seen that with other clients I've worked with too. It's like, the difference of how it makes you feel when you do make those choices to eat those healthy snacks, eat better, compared to when we binge on eating donuts or chips or whatever is in front of us.
Yeah. And that snowballs. That's the things that make snowball, right? Once you start feeling good, it's like, okay. All right. Number 4 is creating an environment for you to be successful. And that's part of the planning piece what we were already being brought about. So like, if you know that, and that's like, if you know your triggers, why it's important for you to recognize your triggers, because it's only through that then you can create a successful environment. You got to figure out what's leading you to be, that self-control, like draining it or making that impulse decision that's not the best. And then, okay, what are some ways that you can prevent that from happening? So like for people, if it's having ice cream at nighttime, get the ice cream out of the house. If that's, it could be triggers of having to actually remove it. It could be a trigger of like for my phone, for me, I'd have to set my phone in a completely different room when I'm doing work. I'm removing that trigger, that kind of thing.
And maybe, and going on the like ice cream example you shared, knowing it's just an example, but have you guys worked with clients before where you've tried to remove that thing and then you realize like, wait, maybe we don't actually need to remove that. Maybe you get to have a bowl of ice cream every night because that's what, really makes you happy. Like maybe that bowl of ice cream really is linked to your joy. So what's the environment you're going to create before, right, the ice cream? Like what's the environment going to be the rest of your day to ensure that you're taking steps during the day to where that bowl of ice cream isn't going to, completely derail your healthy nutrition, because sometimes we look at it that way too, like the taking away thing, and you're like, you know what, maybe we don't have to go that route. So like creating that environment can be including what you feel like maybe you're not supposed to have.
Yeah. And that's also to show how it's different for each person and what they're trying to achieve. you know. For some people though, they would not have it. They like can't have it in the house. It doesn't matter. You know, they'll over whatever. Where for someone it's okay, how's the rest of your day is going? Maybe you still, because it does bring you joy, because we're not here to steal and take everything from you. You know, and be like, you're not going to have any. Being unhealthy is fun and not fun. We're defining that balance of achieving the health you want to have and still be able to, have the intuitive eating. That's a whole other topic. But anyway, as far as that kind of thing. All right, we need to move on. Number five, the fifth and final one is to create a community, find some support in some sort of way. We are made as humans to be with one another. If the last year has not shown that to us, then, and that's not to say, there's some people that are more happy being totally by themselves, but overall, in general, we want to connect and be with other people and want that support. And so really finding some kind of community, a tribe of a group of people, a friend, I talked about before one of our, so we have the right mindset, the right plan, and the right accountability are our big three things, and that's part of finding someone to help you stay accountable. And of course, that's what we're here to help you with if you are needing some assistance and help with that. And it's interesting, I was talking with a training client of mine yesterday about this, and she was telling a story of someone that I was reading this book on self-control, and she was saying that she had a friend of hers that quit smoking many, many years, I think like 20 years ago. She was a teacher because she told her students, just happened to tell her students that she was going to quit smoking, and her students made sure that she didn't, and I was like, she probably didn't even realize what she was doing when she made that comment, but it ended up creating this community where they were totally supportive. Like, I'm accountable to them. I got to come in and say, I'm not smoked, and it worked.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So finding some ways like that. All right. Any last comments from you ladies on these 5 things? So again, that's number 1, admit it and finding the triggers. 2, pause, take some time, take a moment before you're making that decision and think about which leads to number 3. You can think about you got to have a greater purpose, a reason why, a really deep reason other than just like it's a good thing to do. There's got to be that there, other more than likely it's not going to matter so much, right? Number 4, create an environment success, especially with your triggers. You can help try to figure out how to make that not a trigger anymore. And number 5, get yourself some support with the community. So there you go.
Yeah.
Please comment in below, like something maybe you're struggling with or something you took for this that you're going to try or did try and how it worked out for you. Also, let us know what you'd like future episodes to be about. Click to subscribe. Also, reach out to us if you would like to sign up and talk with one of us and share with us a story and see how we can help you on becoming, creating sustainable, healthy habits in your own life. All right. Thank you all. Bye, ladies. Good to see y'all.
Bye.
Bye.